major developments overnight in the future of TikTok. Remember, a ban is set to take effect Sunday as part of a bipartisan law passed by Congress, signed by President Biden, over concerns of Chinese influence over the app. So the ban is Sunday, but the New York Times is reporting that TikTok CEO has been invited to Donald Trump's inauguration on Monday. Add to that, CNN has learned that President-elect Trump is looking into possible stopgap measures to keep TikTok from shutting down. All right, CNN's Claire Duffy is here. So much uncertainty.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really the bottom line here is we're 3 days away from this ban, and we still don't know what's going to happen here, if it's really going away or not. We still don't know how the Supreme Court is going to rule. We're now hearing that Donald Trump is trying to take some action potentially to delay the ban going into effect, although, as you said, it's set to go into effect the day before the inauguration. And what that means really for users of this platform is they are feeling a lot of this uncertainty. If you are a creator who makes a livelihood on this app, or even a user who spends hours a day, as many people do, scrolling on this platform, those folks are already seeking out alternatives. And we're seeing some of those alternatives surge in popularity this week. The biggest one is a platform called Red Note, which is actually a Chinese app. It looks a lot like TikTok. And what's really interesting is we're seeing a lot of American TikTok users flocking to this app and Chinese users welcoming them, offering Mandarin lessons, offering them information about how to use the platform. I pulled up a good example of this to show you.
Dear TikTok refugees, welcome to Xiaohongshu. I know you probably don't understand Chinese, but there are 5 tips to help you make the most of this app. First, it's all about lifestyle. You can always find a better way to live and most comprehensive guide to everything.
It's kind of a hilarious cultural exchange that's happening, and many American users are there expressing frustration about the U.S. government and essentially saying, if you're going to take away our TikTok, we're going to go find another Chinese platform that we can use. So that's been a really interesting dynamic that we're seeing. Another app that's really gained popularity is Lemon8, which is owned by TikTok parent company ByteDance. The company started pushing it in the U.S. when talks of a ban really started bubbling up, and that's another platform that's really gaining. Those two platforms could still face the same sort of ban that TikTok is facing under this law. And experts told me that sort of gets at the challenge, this whack-a-mole challenge that the U.S. government has in trying to avoid Chinese influence over popular social platforms.
Look, those would certainly be twists, that's for sure. Again, if the CEO of TikTok is really coming to the inauguration on Monday, it's hard to imagine Donald Trump doesn't want to find a way to save it or won't do something. Claire Duffy, thank you very much for that.
In just 3 days, the U.S. ban of TikTok is set to take effect, impacting 170 million users here in the United States. And sources tell CNN that the president-elect, Donald Trump, is now looking at, debating, considering, looking at the options to push that off, at least for a time, and keep the platform up and running while they look for and try to find a U.S. buyer. CNN's Harry Enten is running the numbers, not on the chances that Donald Trump will do it.
I have no idea.
But on just how big of a force TikTok really has become in this country. So how popular is TikTok?
Yeah, the idea that I can get into Donald Trump's head and know what he was doing on any particular moment, to me, is just something that is out of my wheelhouse.
Moving on.
Moving on. Age 13 to 17, basically teenagers. I don't know if you have any teenage members of your family, Kate Baldwin, but if you ever look at their phone, they seem to be addicted to it, and they're scrolling through. What are they scrolling through? They're scrolling through TikTok. I mean, my goodness gracious, 2/3 of teenagers use TikTok. It is more popular than Instagram, more popular than Snapchat. Facebook's for old fuddy-duddies like myself. Just 32% of teenagers use Facebook, and Twitter, X, which is my favorite platform to be all honest, just 17%. And it's not just that they love TikTok. Teenagers are addicted to TikTok. TikTok's got a hold of them. 50% of teenagers use TikTok several times a day. So if TikTok went adios amigos, this would have a major impact on the daily lives of teenagers, at least in your life.
So this is 13 to 17-year-olds. How about everyone else?
Yeah, how about everyone else? So, you know, I myself have a TikTok account, but I don't really quite understand it. I guess I'm becoming an old fuddy-duddy. Adults who use TikTok, but even here, it's been a massive rise. So you go back to 2019, you can see it was just 3%. Now look at this. It's up to 32%. That's up nearly 30 points in just a 5-year span. Yes, Facebook is a little bit more, yes, Facebook is number one, Instagram being number 2, but it's really the rise of TikTok. It's really younger folks. Again, those under the age of 30 who use TikTok. There's a reason why Trump went and campaigned with those influencers. It's because to get younger voters to get younger folks on social media. You don't go to Facebook, you go to TikTok, and the bottom line is TikTok has become a massive force in this country, and only one that has become considerably more popular as time has gone on.
Okay, so if it is so popular,
Yes.
and it goes away,
Yes.
where do people go?
Yeah, okay. So, you know, as I said, TikTok has a massive hold on teenagers. TikTok has an increasingly strong hold on adults. But that doesn't mean that people who use TikTok only use TikTok. So who TikTok users, where else could they potentially go? TikTok users who also use, look, they're going to get their fix somewhere else, because take a look at this. 74% of TikTok users also use Instagram. You know, you can go on Instagram. I do have an Instagram account, Forecaster Enter, in case you're wondering. Or you can go over to YouTube. Think YouTube Shorts. 95% of TikTok users also use YouTube. So look, they'll get their fix somewhere else, but it will still be a massive disruption in their lives, especially younger folks.
Let me ask you both about something else that has been a bipartisan issue here in Washington, which is TikTok, which Congress voted overwhelmingly in bipartisan fashion to ban the app. It's set to go in effect on Sunday. Congressman Nunn, we're hearing some reports that President Trump may be thinking about an executive order that would delay the sale. There is a provision of the law that allows that for 90 days. Do you think he should do that?
Well, I think, first of all, let's look at the House led on this, passed it, the Senate approved it, and the President signed into law. The Supreme Court's upheld it. Now, this isn't a ban of...
The court may still weigh in, but yes.
Yeah, with TikTok on
we
this...
We expect it to
Yeah,
be.
exactly
Yes.
right.
Mm-hmm.
The TikTok on this is an app, and ByteDance, the parent company, is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Chinese. And we have seen for the last 6 months, Chinese through Volt Typhoon, Silk Typhoon, Salt Typhoon, coming in and pillaging the United States. So we know the Chinese are incentivized to do this. I think that it's right from a national security side to divest from China being able to have its largest propaganda source right here in the United States. President Trump coming in, we've got a lot of deadlines coming up this Sunday, Casey, and I think it's important that we're clear with the American people. There's a new top cop in town, and he's going to have a lot of influence here on getting the Chinese to divest. In the same tone, TikTok, the app, has an opportunity here to become an American company, and I think that ultimately their CEO may be joining the inauguration this week to have those direct conversations with leaders right here in Washington.
Congressman Landsman, do you see any upside to delaying this for 90 days? Should President Biden consider doing that before he leaves office? Should Donald Trump use this executive order if he doesn't?
I don't know. I mean, quite frankly, Zach's right. The point is keep the app and get the company to disinvest from China. They just got to get out of China, because at the moment, because it is a Chinese-based company, China, who is a foreign adversary, they are at any time in a position to weaponize all of our data. And we're putting Americans at risk and our national security at risk. And so, if they can get this thing sold, that would be the best of both worlds. But, whether there's a delay or not, what we passed was the right decision.
Quick last word, Congressman?
I think this is a bold world. Look, if China wants to continue to play in this area and refuses to allow it to sell, I feel highly confident that there'll be another app that will immediately spring up in its place. We just talked about our kids. This is the generation where brand loyalty is not there. They're going to go to something that they need.
I asked my kids before the vote, I said, hey, I'm going to vote on this, curious, do you care?
Yeah.
Focus group of 2. The answer was like, no, they're both in their phones in the back of the car. And I was like, why? And they're like, something else will come up.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
All right. Well, it's nice to have some bipartisan breaking out on the set on all of the issues we have talked about today.
Dad's in
it
agreement.
seems.
Right.
Congressman, thanks to both of you for joining us. I hope you'll come back soon.
Appreciate it.